Hello everyone. In today's video, you will again learn how to make an income and expenditure account with more adjustments on subscriptions, interest on investment, and outstanding expenses. So let me show you the question. So this is the question. In this question, we have to prepare the income and expenditure account for the year ending 31st March 2015. They have also provided us the receipts and payments account for the same year ending, and also they have provided some additional information. Now, with the help of the receipts and payments account and the additional information, we have to prepare the income and expenditure account. So let us check the receipt side, the information which is provided on the receipt side. The receipt side shows that the organization had an opening balance of bank of 32,500 during the year. It had received subscription worth rupees 15,600 in cash during the year. The organization received donation worth rupees 2,600 during the year. The organization received rent of hall rupees 390 during the year, and it had received interest on bank deposit 585. Then it had received entrance fees worth rupees 1,300. On the payment side, it shows that the organization had purchased new machinery worth rupees 6,500, and this machinery were purchased on 1st July 2014. The organization paid salaries worth rupees 2,600. The organization paid electricity charges rupees 1,170 in cash. Then the organization paid postage and stationery 195. The organization also purchased books during the year worth rupees 3,250 in cash. The organization paid entertainment expenses of rupees 1,170 in cash. The organization made an investment in government papers during the year worth rupees 10,400, and the investment carried an interest rate of 5%, and the investment was made on the same year on the 1st of July 2014. Then the organization paid sundry expenses of 780 during the year. The organization had a closing balance of cash rupees 390 and an opening and a closing balance of bank 26,520. So I hope you have understood the information which is provided in the receipts and payments account. Now let us see the additional information which is provided to us. The first information says that number 1, outstanding entertainment expenses rupees 650. So the organization had an outstanding entertainment expense of 650. That means during the year the organization did not pay 650 rupees, which actually was an expense of the current year. Similarly, number 2, the organization had an outstanding salary of 1,950. That means this is an outstanding of the current year which the organization has not paid. Then number 3, the organization had an accrued subscription of 520. This also is the amount which belonged for the current year, but the members did not pay to the organization and the organization did not receive this. So it is an outstanding or an accrued for the organization. Then number 4, the organization also did not receive an interest. The organization also did not receive a bank interest of around 195, which is an accrued income. Then number 5, 50% of the entrance fees is to be capitalized. That means 50% will be of revenue nature and 50% will be of capital nature. Then number 7, we have to provide depreciation on machinery at the rate of 10% per annum. So I hope we are clear with the additional information also. So let us first of all separate the items which are of revenue nature. Let me start from the receive side. Subscription is a revenue nature item. Donation, if no information is given, it is a revenue nature item. Rent of hall is a revenue nature item. Interest on bank deposit is a revenue nature item. Then entrance fees is a revenue nature item. It will be 50% will be revenue nature and half will be capital nature. So we have to take only 50% of 1,300 in our income and expenditure account as entrance fees. Then on the payment side, machinery is a capital nature, but we have to provide depreciation on 6,500 at the rate of 10%. So only the depreciation will come in the income and expenditure account. Salary is a revenue nature item. Then electricity charges is a revenue nature item. Postage and stationery is a revenue nature item. Books for a not-for-profit organization is a asset, so it is a capital nature item. Then entertainment expense is a revenue nature item. Now investment in government paper of 10,400 is a capital nature item. Investment is always a capital nature item. When we invest, we actually make payment, but we do receive interest on such investment. So this investment, the interest that we receive on such investment is a revenue nature item. So this 5% is revenue nature receives. It should have been here, but then we can't see any interest on government papers. We just have interest on bank deposits. So this interest is an accrued interest which we have to show in the income and expenditure account, as the organization did not receive, but we have to show it in the income and expenditure account. So this 5% will be of revenue nature and it will come as an income. Then we have sundry expenses is a revenue nature item. So you are clear with the items which are of revenue nature. Now we will see which accounts requires adjustments. We will mark that. Now subscription requires adjustment. Then we have interest on bank deposit. It requires adjustment, and we also have to take this 5% interest on government papers, which is an accrued interest because we did not receive the cash of the interest on government papers. Then on the payment side, we have to take depreciation on machinery. Then we have salaries. There is some outstanding is there, so adjustment is required. Then we have entertainment expenses. Adjustments are required because of the outstanding. So these are the accounts when we take in our income and expenditure account, we should make the adjustments. So let me start from the income side. If we have to start from the income side, we have to look at the receive side. So on the receive side, let us start with subscription. So when we take subscription, we can take the whole amount, say the whole amount received in cash. Total subscription received in cash during the year was 15,600. Now we cannot show this whole amount in our income and expenditure account because income and expenditure account is on accrual basis. So to show it on accrual basis, we have to show only for the current year, that is for the year ending 31st March 2015. So in order to show the actual amount, we have to remove this 1,950 which is received in the current year for the outstanding of the previous year. Then we also have to remove 650 which is an advance for the next year received in the current year. That means it is for the year ending 31st March 2016. So this two amount has to be subtracted, and if we subtract, our amount will come to 13,000. So if it is 13,000, this is the actual cash received of the current year as subscription. The additional information also says that there is an accrued subscription of 520. That means the members did not pay 520 and the organization did not receive this 520 which actually belong for the current year. Current year means for the year ending 31st March 2015. So what we have to do is we have to add this 520 and the amount that we will get will be our actual subscription for the current year. We can either take the total amount or we can directly take 13,000 into our account and we can avoid 1,950 and 650. So if we show this in our account, we can show it in this way. We can write the heading when we make the account as income and expenditure account for the year ending 31st March 2015. Then we start. If we take the amount directly without taking the total amount, then we can write by subscription from the receipts and payments account. We take only that current year's amount of 13,000 and we add the accrued of 520. So it gives us 13,520, which is our actual subscription for the current year. Now if we take the total amount from the receipts and payments account, then we can show it like this. by subscription, the total amount is 15,600. So it is 15,600. We have to deduct 1,950 because this amount is included in 15,600, which actually belong for the previous year. Then we have to deduct 650, which is an advance for the next year, and it is in this amount of 15,600. So this two amount has to be removed because this is for the other period. So we have to remove it, and after adjustment we should add the accrued of 520, and we'll get the actual subscription for the current year, that is 13,520. So in our account we can show in either of this way. We can either do it in this way or we can do it in this way also. Now let us look at the next adjustment, interest on bank deposit. Now interest on bank deposit, the receipts and payment account shows that the interest that was received in cash during the year was 585. So here this interest on bank deposit is actually the interest received on the previous year's deposit, because we can't see any bank deposits on the payment side. There is no investment made on bank deposit during the current year. So we can understand from here is that this is an interest which comes from the investment which was made in the previous years. But even this also we have to see in the additional information. It says that the bank interest which was received 585 is actually not the total interest for the current year. That is only the cash received, that is 585. So there is an accrued of 195 which actually belong for the same year, but it is not received. So in that case we have to add this 195 to 585 to get the total interest on bank deposit. So when we show this in our account, we have to show it in this way. By interest on bank deposit 585 from the receipts and payments account, the cash which is received. Then we'll add the outstanding or the accrued of 195, which is actually the income of the current year. So our total income from interest on deposit is 780. Next we have to take this 5%. This also is an adjustment, so I'm doing the adjustments first. So let us take this 5% interest which the organization was supposed to receive on the investment of government papers. So the amount of investment made during the year, this is actually the investment of the current year, is the investment is 10,400. Whenever we make an investment, we always show it on the payment side, and when we receive the interest, we always show it on the receive side. The interest is shown on the receive side and the investment is shown on the payment side. So this 5% is a revenue received. Only the interest that is received is treated as a revenue received. Otherwise investment is a capital nature item. So here we have to see when was this investment made. It was made on 1st July 2014. So we have to calculate the interest from 1st of July 2014 to 31st March 2015. So when we calculate, this is the amount that we will get. Total interest on government papers, the date of investment was 1st July 2015 and the year ending is 31st March 2015. So the time is 9 months. So the rate of interest is 5% and the amount of investment is 10,400. So when we calculate, we should get 390. So our accrued interest on government papers is 390. So when we show it in our account, we have completed subscription, we have completed interest on bank deposit. Now by accrued interest on government papers, it is accrued because this amount is not received during the current year, but it is an income of the current year. So on accrual basis, we have to show this. So it is an accrued interest on government papers, 390. Next we have, now let us take the remaining items which does not require adjustment. Now towards the receive side, subscription we have taken, then donation we have to take, then rent of hall we have to take, interest on bank deposit is completed, and entrance fees we have to take only 50% of 1300. So these are the three items we have to take which are remaining on the income side. So when we take this is how we enter it. Subscription is completed, interest on bank deposit completed, then buy interest on government papers is completed. Now you will write buy donation 2600, buy entrance fees 50% of 1300 is 650, and by rent of hall is 390. So our income side is over. Now let us go to the payment side. Towards the payment side, let me start with the adjustments first. I will first of all start with the depreciation on machinery. So machinery, there is no opening value, but there is new purchases made during the current year. That is the amount of the machinery is 6500. So I have to provide depreciation on 6500, but we have to check the date on which the machinery was purchased. It was purchased on 1st July 2014. So we have to calculate the depreciation from 1st July 2014 to 31st March 2015. So it is 9 months and the rate of depreciation is 10%. So when we calculate this, then this is how we can calculate in our working note. Depreciation on machinery from 1st July to 31st March 2015. This is for 9 months at the rate of 10% on 6500 is 487.50 paisa. So in order to avoid the decimal, we can round up by writing the amount as 488. So when we show this in our account, it will appear like this. On our expenditure side, we'll write to depreciation on machinery 488. Let us go to the next item. The next item which requires adjustment is salaries. So we take salary. When we take our income and expenditure account, we'll take 2600. This is not the total salary for the year. There is an outstanding of 1950. So we are going to add this 1950 to show the total salary for the current year. Because it is on accrual basis, we have to show the total salary. So we have to include even the salary which belongs for the current year. Even if it is not paid also, we have to add that also. So in order to show the total salary for the current year. Similarly, we have entertainment expenses, which is paid in cash is 1170, but there is also an outstanding of 650, which actually is an expense for the current year, which is not paid. So it is not included in this 1170. We have to add this also to show the total expense of entertainment expenses. So when we show this items in our account, this is how we are going to enter it. So depreciation we have completed. So when we write two salaries in the receipts and payments account, it shows 2600 as the payment in cash. So we add the outstanding, how much is not paid is 1950, which actually is the salary for the current year. So our total salary for the current year is 4550. Same with entertainment expenses. Two entertainment expenses paid in cash from the receipts and payments account, 1170, out of which 650 is an outstanding for the current year. So our total entertainment expenses is 1820. So let me take the remaining items which does not require adjustment, and these items are, we have taken the depreciation, we have taken salary, so we have to take electricity charges, we have to take postage, we have to take electricity charges, postage and stationery we have to take, then we have entertainment expenses we have taken, then we have to take sundry expenses of 780. So when we show these items in our account, it will appear like this. So we have here depreciation is completed, salary completed, entertainment expenses completed. So we write two electricity charges 1170, two postage and stationery 195, two sundry expenses 780. After writing all the, and after posting all the expenditure accounts, then we compare both the side, the income as well as the expenditure side. If we add subscription, interest on deposit, accrued interest on government papers, donations, then entrance fees, and rent of hall, we get a total of 18,330, which is greater than the total expenditure of depreciation on machinery, salaries, entertainment expenses, electricity charges, postage and stationery, and sundry expenses. So it is greater than those expenses, the total expenditure, and the total of the income is 18,330, and the difference of the income and the expenditure is 9,327, which is an excess of income over expenditure, and this is our surplus. So I hope you have understood how we have solved this question. And if you want to show the working note, you can show it just below this will be your main sum. This is how you will present your sum, and after presenting your sum in this way, then just below you can show the working note, how you have calculated interest on government papers and depreciation on machinery. I have done this separately a while ago, but you can show it just below your question, how you have found out the interest and the depreciation on machinery. Thank you.